Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to Ultra Instinct Tarot. My name is Andres, and I'll be the one taking care of you for this reading. I will be receiving the help from these three homies. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. 10 out of 10 homies. So we hope. Ooh, I guess it wants to come out. So we're just gonna explore the ways of Ultra Instinct and get started. Scorpio. And we start with the 7 of Clouds, which is the 7 of the mind, which is the 7 of Swords. So interesting, we're in the Swords and we are exploring the victory sphere of the Sword. Notice this has politics on it, and that doesn't look like victory to me. But it's because we're in the Swords, and victory probably means people being cut up, especially being so far down the tree of life. So we got the 7 of Clouds. So do you recognize this man? All but the most innocent and sincere of us have a politician lurking somewhere in our minds. In fact, the mind is political. Its very nature is to plan and scheme and try to manipulate situations and people so that it can get what it wants. Because the mind has gotta just use numbers, you know, like math. So if you use the mind to address people, then you're just gonna have to see them as numbers, and then it's easier to cut people off, you know, when you see them as numbers, if the whole point of the game is to make your own number bigger. So here the mind is represented by the snake, covered with clouds and speaking with a forked tongue. But the important thing to realize about this card is that both faces are false. The sweet, innocent, trust me face is a mask, and the evil, toxic, I'll have my way with you face is a mask too. Politicians don't have real faces. The whole game is a lie. Take a good look at yourself to see if you have been playing this game. What you see might be painful, but not as painful as continuing to play. It's like at the end of Jeopardy, you know, like the end isn't fun at all for anyone except for the one person that's winning and that's obviously going to win. You know, there's always one person that is going to win and everybody knows it's going to win, but there's still a couple turns left, and so everyone's just suffering there, just waiting for the guy that's going to win to take all their stuff. And there's nothing they can do about it. You know, it's not a fun game. And we are in that part of the game right now. And I don't want to play that game anymore. The people that are in the government, you guys won. Congratulations. Can we play a different game now? Alright. So, yeah, what you see might be painful, but not as painful as continuing to play. That's how I feel right now about everything that is going on right now. So it doesn't serve anybody's interest in the end, least of all yours. Whatever you might achieve in this way will you just turn to dust in your hands. Anybody who can be a good pretender, a hypocrite, will become your leader politically and will become your priest religiously. All that he needs is hypocrisy. All that he needs is cuttingness. All that he needs is a facade to hide behind. It's like just telling people what they want to hear even though it's not the truth. Your politicians live double lives, your priests live double lives. One from the front door, the other from the back door. And the back door life is their real life. Those front door smiles are just false. Those faces looking so innocent are just cultivated. If you want to see the reality of the politician, you have to see him from his back door. There he is in his nudity, as he is, and so is the priest. These two kinds of cunning people have dominated humanity, and they find out very clearly, very early on, that if you want to dominate humanity, make it weak, make it feel guilty, make it feel unworthy. We are definitely in those times right now. Destroy its dignity, take all glory away from it, and humiliate it. They have such subtle waves of humiliation that they don't come in the picture at all. They leave it to you to humiliate yourself, to destroy yourself. They have taught you kind of a slow suicide. Yeah, and I see that with people that shame other people for not wanting to work nowadays. I mean, I'm sorry I don't want to be a slave, you know, like, Don't shame me for not wanting to be a slave like you all, you know. The outsider, interesting. So you are saying things like that, like you don't want to be a slave, you know, when the whole mass is saying you have to work, you know, you have to be an employee, even though we just replaced employee with slave, you know, or replaced slave with employee, you know. All right, this is getting me worked up. I'm gonna relax. Talk about the Five of Pentacles, which is feeling like you're left alone outside in the cold. This guy is alone, and he can't go through the gate. He wants to go through the gate to all those pretty colors. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to play this game anymore. He doesn't want to be stuck inside anymore. The small child is standing on one side of a gate looking through it. He is so small and so convinced that he cannot get through. He cannot see the chain holding the gate is not locked. All he has to do is open it. But he just can't see it. Same here. We feel like we have to be part of the game because everyone else is. But we don't want to be part of the game anymore. Whenever we feel left out or excluded, it brings up this feeling of being a small, helpless child. It is not surprising as the feeling is deeply rooted in our earliest childhood experiences. The problem is that because it is so deeply rooted, it plays over and over again, like a tape in our lives. You have an opportunity now to stop the tape, to quit tormenting yourself with ideas that you are somehow not good enough or not enough to be accepted and included. Recognize the roots of these feelings in the past and let go of the old pain. It will bring you the clarity to see how you can open the gate and enter that which you most long to become. The outsider. So you are feeling yourself an outsider. This is good. This is the transitory period. Now you have to be alert not to fill yourself with pain and misery. Now that God is no longer there, who is going to console you? You don't need any consolation. Humanity has come of age. Be a man, be a woman, and stand on your own feet. The only way to be connected with existence is to go inwards, because there at the center you are still connected. You have been disconnected physically from your mother. The disconnection was absolutely necessary to make you an individual in your own right. It's the same with like birds and learning to fly. You know, those baby birds probably don't want to jump the nest, but they get kicked out. But you're not disconnected from the universe, and then they fly. You know, your connection with the universe is of consciousness. You cannot see it, so you have to go deep down with great awareness, watchfulness, witnessing, and you will find the connection. The Buddha is the connection, the one that's sitting inside of yourself, just watching. It's all of these colors put together into one. It's strength, and strength is needed to get there, apparently. Strength is needed to not want to play the game anymore, because everyone plays it. Because, I mean, you are an outsider if you don't play the game. And it does feel like shit. It will make you feel like shit. Alright, so this is number 8 in the Major Arcana. This is strength. So this card is about confidence, patience, resilience, inner strength, compassion, diplomacy. In order to continue her journey, probably this one of the outsider, of opening the gate and going through, the fool must learn to tap into her inner reserves of strength, the kind that allows one to master and channel their animalistic drives and instincts to succeed despite distress, danger, and struggle. It is not about dominance, but resilience, adaptability, and the confidence that whatever twists and turns life throws one's way, one can handle them calmly. How can you call on your inner strength to make the choices that are best for you, even if your fears, colleagues, or family members are discouraging you? Okay, Scorpio, I see what's going on. This card also signals the discipline and channeling of our more animalistic impulses into constructive action. How can you use these emotions to bring you closer to your ideal outcome? So you're like the black sheep of the family. So when you're finally getting your own, being your own person, you know, instead of just following what the family does, what mom and dad do, you know, and your parents don't want you to be your own person. Your family doesn't want you to be your own person. Your family wants you to be like them. And then if you're different, then they look at you weird, tell you you're weird, and will treat you like you're weird, because you are weird. You are different from them, and that's okay to be different. It is life moving. It is this life that is changing very rapidly. Like, imagine your grandparents, they didn't change throughout their lives really, because life around them probably didn't change this fast, you know. But with like new technology, life is like speeding up fast. Like if life was going like this, you know, during these times, life is going more and more, changing faster and faster. And so I think that's something that new kids, younger generations, or like young adults now, I guess, I don't know how old you are, I don't know. But I mean, when so many changes are happening so fast, you have to learn to adapt and change too. And so when things aren't changing fast, you don't necessarily have to change and adapt, because you can just be who you are and it'll still work. But right now, it's impossible to not change with what life is changing, because if we don't change, then we're just, you know, not gonna make it. We are like, anxiety and depression is happening for a reason. It's telling us we're not to go what we don't want to do, but it's like telling us with a smack. And so we need strength to not keep going down that hole, and to turn around and do something different. Because if we all keep doing the same thing, everyone is going to keep being anxious and depressed. The Emperor. Yes, we need to take control of our own lives instead of following the whole mass who is going, you know, like in SpongeBob, where they're moving the rock and they all, you know, that's literally the situation. is the one person's going to go down and then everyone's just going to follow down this cliff. But we need to rule ourselves. Rule ourselves. Be the ruler of your own person. Be this emperor with your own life. Figure out what you want and what you need, and ignore what people tell you that you need. Because that stuff that people keep telling you that you need is obviously not making you feel good. I think it's that simple. The things they tell you need are not making us feel good. So find the things that your own needs that make you feel good. This card about authority, structure, logic, protection, discipline. The Emperor is our ability to structure, organize, protect, and create stability. You need new stability because there is no stability right now in life. How does this? Yeah, with all the changes. Interesting. Yeah, with all the changes that we were just talking about, there's no stability. So you got to find a way to create your own stability that can manage through these changes. Okay, so I had to pause and do something with my dog. She really needed to go outside, so I paused to go outside. So maybe going outside will cause some stability for yourself. So I even forgot where I was. Interesting, all this change would do that for you. So find some stability within all this change. If you make yourself stable, yeah, that's where we are. If you make yourself stable enough that you are able to go through all these changes without, you know, losing too much of yourself or changing too much of yourself. Luffy will always be Luffy in any situation. You know, he's always going to be himself. He's always going to be Sunshine Boy, no matter in what situation he's in. So that's the kind of stability that you're looking for with all of these things that are going on. Beautiful. Look, good job, Luna. Good job. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, 5 of Wands, strife. This is fighting. This is movement. Because we're in the fire, which is action. Like will, you know, like in Naruto, the will of fire. You know, what does that mean? Like fire is always moving. You know, it's always moving. It never stops until it's dead. So that's the will of fire, of movement. You know, you're never gonna stop. don't give up. And this is a fighting, so strife. So same with being this emperor, being the stability that you yourself need. You're fighting to fight the ones around you. Well, you have to defend yourself, obviously, if you're in a fight, But you want to create this stability so that you don't feel this way. You don't change into this child that feels like he's locked in. Because you will be, your family is going to keep strifing you. And you need this strength to keep your stability, to not turn back into this child. Yes. The Fool. Nice. Yep. Going in circles. This makes you keep going in circles, and you can't step through this door. But you found your strength and your emperor within. See, these are in the middle. Within yourself, and that's gonna cause the Fool is new beginnings. This is starting from scratch, starting new. So this would be this kid finally going through that gate to all those colors. And he's a fool now, because he's starting new. Anytime you start something new and you don't know things, you're kind of fool because you don't know them. But that's what's fun, is you get to know, So yeah, nice. So with all this fighting and all of the things that are happening to you and around you, go within yourself. See what you need. See what you want. See what makes you feel good, and do those things. Create a new pattern for new stability, that you can sit down and chill no matter what's going on around you, like this guy. And that's gonna lead you to the outside of all these pretty colors. I like that. Oof, this has been like a sporadic one, I feel, especially compared to the other two that I've done. This one feels a lot more sporadic, and I got very intense here. I felt very intense talking about the beginning. So there's something intense. Oof. Alright. 37. Interesting, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. 37. So there's my Boogie Wonderland card. So if you remember what happens when Daryl leaves, he's leaving to new stuff, with the new company. And he's leaving Dunbar Mifflin. But he they wanted to say goodbye, so they all danced together. So dance, Boogie Wonderland. What a cool moment. Dance, party, sing, be goofy, be silly. Why so serious? Why so serious? Have Kevin grind you up from the front and Aaron pretend to hump you from behind. It will be a better tribute to your years here. Things are coming full circle. That's interesting. Literally. Okay, cool. If you're already going out, you might as well go out with a bang, Like, since you already know you're gonna die, would you choose, like, a cool way to go out, What would you choose? That's kind of the whole point. What would you choose? What would you want to do with the life you're given? And this other one. Nice. Yup. This is Dwight Schrute becomes manager. That's literally what this whole reading has been about. Yeah, don't give up on your dreams, man. Don't give up on what you want. If you don't want to play anymore, don't play. Dwight Schrute is manager. Your dream is right in your face. You did it. You finally did it. Yeah, that circle is coming to a close. Dwight even left Dunder Mifflin when he thought he wouldn't be manager anymore, and look at him now. Who would have thought? And while you're living that dream, become the manager of yourself, which is this emperor. Take control of that human vessel and watch it do wonders. Be who you've always wanted to be. Stand up, be proud, and say, Dwight Schrute is manager!